We're passing the bye for the Browns, and they now travel down to South Beach for a conference matchup with the Miami Dolphins in Week 10. Cleveland will need all hands on deck as they take on a high-powered offense consisting of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Tua Tagovailoa. The Finns rank in 5th place in total yards on offense this season. The Brownies are sitting one place ahead at 4th place as Nick Chubb, Jacoby Brissett, and the offensive line help make it happen. I'll give you a look at 5 of my post-bye week report cards. These are based on my general expectation for the player prior to the season starting. Now, let's dive into it. First, we have Martin Emerson Jr. The former Mississippi State Bulldog and now second-string Browns cornerback, Martin Emerson Jr. has emerged on the scene as a force in the secondary. Selected in the 3rd round of this year's draft, Emerson has made an immediate impact on Joe Wood's defense. Across 218 coverage snaps, he's allowed only 253 passing yards. He's also forced 8 incompletions according to PFF. Emerson struggled against the Steelers in Week 3 and the Ravens in Week 7. He averaged a 56.7 PFF grade for both weeks. He did lick his wounds, though, from Week 7 and bounced back in Week 8. He had a huge performance against the Bengals on Monday Night Football. The Browns were down Denzel Ward in the secondary, and Emerson helped ease the impact. He contained T. Higgins to 2 receptions on 3 targets. He accounted for 1 pass defended and 0 first downs allowed. He has been one of the most exciting players in the Browns' defense and continues to remain consistent against tough wideout competition. I believe he deserves a good old A- for his report card grade. Plus, he is number 17 out of 110 cornerbacks graded by PFF. Pretty good for the 10th corner chosen in the 2022 draft, right? Next, we have Taven Bryan. A bounce-back prospect in Taven Bryan has been something the Browns have hoped for. Bryan has played only 7 out of the 8 games so far this year, but the hope is still somewhat lingering. The starting right defensive tackle has made a slight difference in a below-average defensive tackle room. Bryan has totaled 6 tackles and 2 sacks on this season. He's graded out at a 53.2 according to PFF. The Wyoming Wildman is only 26 and has become, getting comfortable along the defensive line. I would love to see Bryan power through the interior more to, help out Clowney and Garrett get to the quarterback. I'm going to give the former Gator a C- on his report card so far this season, but time might be gentle to him working alongside 2 dominant edge rushers. Next, we have Dedrick Willis Jr. Dedrick Willis Jr. is a controversial and generally misunderstood player in Cleveland facing a contract year. The starting left tackle has struggled to regain the momentum built from his previous 2 years. He has battled through many tough injuries for a young player and lacks on consistency from game to game. Postich and Bitonio have alleviated his worries on the inside, but the outside rushers tend to give him trouble. Willis has played 552 snaps of football this season. He has accounted for 6 penalties, which is tied for 6th in the league. He has allowed for 4 sacks, which is tied for 9th. PFF currently grades him out as a 65.8. He posted an 84.3 PFF grade in his recent performance against the Bengals, so we'll just have to sit back and wait and see how the story unfolds for Mr. Willis. My report card for him is a C. I'm still not fully ready to give up on Dedrick, but the clock is ticking on his time in Cleveland if things aren't improved. Next, we have Donovan Peoples-Jones. Donovan for the Peoples-Jones, the 3rd-year wide receiver, has shown the potential as the starting wide receiver alongside stud Amari Cooper. He recently wowed Cleveland on Halloween night with a hurdle over All-Pro safety Jesse Bates III. Peoples-Jones has shined in his role as a 3rd or 4th option on the offense. Being slotted behind Cooper, Njoku, and Chubb, Donovan has done an excellent job of also being the safety net for Mr. Jacoby Brissett. He totals 19% of the target share on the offense and gains 13.9 yards per each reception, which is 24th in the NFL so far this year. DPJ has only 1 drop on 23 targets while catching 8 of his 13 contested catch opportunities per PFF. Also, in his previous 3 games, he's exceeded 70 yards plus, totaling out to 226 yards. The stats currently read 30 receptions, 417 yards, and the most shocking stat of all, 0 touchdowns. But that column should be corrected soon in the coming weeks. DPJ has been a pleasant surprise every year he's been in Cleveland, and I'm overjoyed to see the Watson and Peoples-Jones connection once 13 arrives. I will have to grade him out as an A-. Ronnie Harrison Jr. In a pivotal contract year, Ronnie Harrison Jr. hasn't gotten off to the greatest start with the Cleveland Browns. As a free agent in 2020 from Jacksonville, Harrison has made flashes but has had numerous mishaps in his game. He wound up under controversy due to shoving Kansas City running backs coach Greg Lewis during the Browns-Chiefs matchup in Week 1 of 2021. He was fined $12,000 by the league and remained relatively quiet on the playing field. His play has remained below neutral in 2022 as he's totaled only 10 tackles and half a sack with 8 games played. Harrison has been targeted 3 times and has allowed 2 of them to be caught. PFF grades him out as a 50.9 in an already thin safety room. Harrison Jr. is slated currently behind second-string strong safety, behind first-string strong safety Grant Delpit. Will Harrison make a jump in quality play or find himself on a different roster next season? We'll just have to sit back and see. My grade for him so far this season is a D+. Now let's see if we can turn it around because we're all hoping for it. That's all from me this week. I'll catch you back here next week with another Browns Digest episode. I'm Jeffrey Laux, and as always, go Browns!